let's jump into our hip hop topic.
Okay.
So on this platform, we do our best to curate music
Mhm.
and actually talk about music, which is kind of strange with hip hop podcasts.
Right.
So I
Mm.
told you, I said, "Yo, Lloyd Banks came out with A.O.N. 3,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think we should, throw some ideas around, listen to the project, and talk about it because
Mhm.
he's from New York. The New York Knicks is winning. New York is really pitting on right now.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yo, what is your first thoughts on listening to
It
the project?
it's a dope project, man. It it shows the development when you hear the mixtape. It's like Lloyd Banks. He's like grown up, and I'm not saying that his rhymes were childish before, because he always had a mature rap style. But he's kind of opening up a little bit in this one. He's talking about like how how he was brought up, some of the ways, the error in his ways, just classic lines. His flow was going with every beat.
Hmm.
So every beat that was going on that mixtape, his flow was going right along with it. There was only a few people that was able to do that, and Jadakiss was one of them,
Mm,
and Lloyd Banks is another one. He can like literally stand on a beat. I don't know
yeah.
how he does it, but his flow goes with a beat. In all the tracks, um, if you ask me, it's just really a mature album. He's even talking about like, yo, don't stay here with your kids. Always look at the positive. Um, don't turn your back on your kids. Don't let them be in the streets. Even a single mother household is better than an orphan. Like he was
Mm,
saying that in one of his rhymes. Like it was dope the way where he was going with it, and I was like, yo, this is like grown up like material. The only thing, if I had to give this whatever, how they do the 5 mics, I would give this mixtape about 4.5. The
okay.
only thing that's missing, and I don't think, and personally, I don't need to, but he doesn't have anything that'll bring in that radio record, that'll get it like on a radio type of airplay. Not that you do that with a mixtape, but he doesn't have that radio hit on there. Otherwise than that, I mean that album is banging. It's worth every bit of it. It's something different. It wasn't like no partying. It wasn't like a thing. It was just his life. He was spewing out his life, and of course he was doing his normal taking over things. The illest track I heard on there, and we'll get into it later on as we go more in depth into the mixtape. To me, the stuff with Styles P was L.
Hmm.
The joint with Ghostface Killer was
Ghostface,
L. Oh
because
my
it took it
god.
back to his childhood. He was talking about growing up
Yeah.
and
He
same
said
thing.
he said, yo, I used to get my ass beat because I
I
look
look
like
like
my
my dad.
pride. I said, oh my God. I said, wow, this dude's really like getting it in. And it just like really, like I said, he
But
really
can I
opened
touch on
up.
that real quick?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
So you spoke on the feature with Ghostface.
Yeah.
What did that remind you of when you listened to this song and then thought of Ghostface? Because Ghostface has a record like that.
Yeah. Like,
All I
all I got
got.
is you. Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, just the genius of him, and maybe it was coincidental.
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually thought about that. Like, yo, let me get Ghostface on this and bring it back
Yeah.
to how Ghostface did with "All I Got Is You."
Yeah.
Because the stuff that Lloyd Banks was rapping on his side, I was like, wow, he's really sharing his childhood, growing up, and his
Right.
life with us as his fans. And
Yeah.
I thought that was dope that he brought Ghostface into it. But go ahead.
No, I thought the whole album. There was another thing on there called Dedication, and I forgot who was on the feature of that, but he was breaking stuff down on that one too. And it was just like at this point, like I don't know, if you're in the hip hop and the boom bap and the flow, and you're looking, I mean, you're not gonna find any radio friendly records on the album or a mixtape, whatever you want to call it. I call it an album, but
Mhm.
it's definitely something you need to hear. It's something you need. I mean, you're gonna. It needs to. My only thing, and 50 Cent had brought this up before. He kind of drops all his stuff, his classics, and it's dope. And we all in the streets love it. But you bring a visual to it too, Lloyd. Don't
Mm.
fall back off that, man. Like bring a visual to it. So
So that's some constructive criticism.
yeah,
I
like
got some constructive criticism as well, and I like that.
so I thought it was. I'd give it 4.5 if I had to.
Four and a half
Yeah,
mics out of five.
yeah.
That's strong.
Yeah, that's is dope. The lyrics are dope. The lyric content is strong. The content is strong. The flow is strong. The beats are strong. I mean, everything is on point. The only thing he doesn't have is a radio hit friendly record on there. But I mean, if that matters, and
Hmm.
I think when you look at like a classic album or a 5 mic
You
album,
need one.
yeah, you just need one. You know what I'm saying? So that he doesn't. But that's just maybe it's just a what is it called? A prequel to maybe what he's going to release later on.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know he starts going into his flow. He starts going. He'll start releasing, like you said, like a series. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry, please.
Nah. Just looking at it, I think we got to commemorate Lloyd Banks for what he's doing for hip hop and what he's doing for New York. He has 20 plus years in hip hop and has never fallen off. And he talked about that. That was one of the lyrics he talked about.
Mm.
This is like when I listened to the album, I felt like I wish the Justo Mixtape Awards was still here.
Facts.
Y'all remember the Justo Mixtape Awards?
Mm-hmm.
This would be if this was considered a mixtape and not an album, this would definitely win Justo Mixtape Awards for the level of elite lyricism that Lloyd Banks always displays.
Mm-hmm.
No 1 minute song, 3 verses, full songs. Again, we like that. Like I hate that 2 minute song, 1 verse and 1 hook. All the songs he does thoroughly. He's doing a hook. One of the best hooks that he did on there, which shows his ability to make songs, is No Info. No Info is towards the later half of the album.
Yeah.
And if you listen to No Info, I was like, yo, this hook is banging. Like Lloyd really jumped in his songwriting bag.
Yeah.
So it showed the elevation of Lloyd Banks, not just as a bartician, but his ability to raise the standards as writing a full song. And that's not the only great song he has on there, but that stuck out to me when I got towards the end of the album. You know, usually sometimes the album has its ebbs and flows and towards the end it starts dying down.
Correct.
But when I'm listening to No Info, I'm like, yo, he's still giving us greatness towards the end of the album and well structured.
Right.
And as you said, the bars, like he had a lot of dope bars.
Mm-hmm.
He said, funny thing about victory is you always have 100 missed calls. Meaning while you're running it up and trying to be successful, there's gonna be people trying to get at you.
Right.
One of the best bars he said was, "Be original. A copycat will never carry a torch." It's like he had little jabs, but the thing was, like his jab was a power punch.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes somebody had to put a full scheme together.
Yeah.
He's throwing little jabs, and it's like leaving a black eye. Be original. A copycat will never carry a torch. People will lose their whole identity for a popular summer. That was on If I Wake Up. Both of those, like he had songs where he had like five different bars, and you just sitting there like, my God, I got to write this down. At least for me.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to add?
I want to illustrate. I was writing down some of this stuff today too. He said, if you sleep on me, he said, to your deathbed on your birthday. And then I think one of the illest thing was he said, niggas think they can stand next to me, but they can't even touch my B-sides. I said, oh boy. I said, yo, he's coming. I said, yo, Styles P ripped the track 2 on Despite My Mistakes. That's another classic one.
Ransom.
Yeah, Ransom. What else is there on here? I wrote down notes because we're gonna put this later on in another situation.
I don't mind you ninjas typing hate as long as it's worth it.
Yo,
y'all be on the computer typing that hate. Lloyd Banks said, keep typing, man. Just as long as it's worth it. Make something original.
Listen to this. This is a Ghostface on Endanger Innocence. He says, wore down mattresses, Thelma on Good Times. I was younger than Penny when I thought of those hood lines. I was hyper thug, smashing on lightning bugs. Most left on concrete green. We reversed they blood strip. We reverse. He said we never. Yeah, he said we never see they blood ship. He said we never seen they blood ship on my shoulder. I could use a hug. My pape days, all I see was blood. Staten Island novels, shootout with my rivals, avenge my man's death, murdered in the Red Hollows. My Rubik's Cube got stuck. Never cracked the code at the age of 25. I mastered. What do you say? I mastered gold. Big bangos. Bracelets, four finger uses, chains, so heavy it caused osteoporosis. Jesus.
Yeah, Ghostface got busy on that.
He did, and I'm not even saying it's all right. I apologize, Ghost, if I'm messing up the rhyme. But the way he like lit into that was insane. I just Lloyd Banks, he gets Ghostface and Styles P do features on his mixtape. and they like literally dropped like classic lines. Like it was like you if you go on there his mixtape, you can't just do it, like him and Jada. You can't be on there lollygagging. You can't because it'll come out. It'll look bad, fam. It'll
You,
look real bad.
you know what I also like
Mm,
too? This is when you listen to projects from barticians, from barsmiths, from
mm,
people who really, really put thought into it. The
mm-hmm.
Lloyd Banks, the
Yeah.
Ransoms, the Styles P's.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do your homework as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
As a fan, you got to grab your notebook like the '90s and write the lyrics down.
Wrote it down. I
You
still
got to
couldn't catch
listen
it.
to it. Like I got to still go back and do my homework as a fan and listen to this probably another 3 times before I get some half of the bars. That's where Lloyd Banks set the bars at for his fans. You can't just listen to this once.
You gave me a 5-day break, and I still had to like go back. I kept going back. I was like, yo, I can't catch all this. This is like the level the level of wordplay in the
Mhm.
music is too much. Like you can't. You gotta sit. This is like for people that don't know, like Only Built for Cuban Links. When that initially came out, you had to like take that all in. That
Mhm.
just was just another level, and you never caught up. You know, even when they kept coming, you just never caught up. Every time one of those guys drop an album, whether it's Capadonna, Ghostface, Raekwon, the level of wordplay was just insane. So every time they stepped it up, the Lloyd Banks, that's it. He's in that category. So I just wanted to say that. That's all.
Yeah. And what's also special about this is I don't want to pitch a narrative because he also talked about people painting narratives around his career.
Mm,
But just seeing how when he stepped away from G Unit, he kept going.
yeah, yeah. Which is it's sad. On a side note, I do want to say it's sad that they're not
Yeah, I wish
all
they were.
together.
I wish
Yeah,
they were all
yeah,
together.
yeah,
Maybe one day something will happen
yeah.
because Lloyd Banks has never come out publicly and said anything towards 50 Cent.
And 50 said the same thing. I think it's either maybe, and I'm just speculating. It looks like seemed like an ego. Because 50 is like, I don't even know why he's over there feeling the way he's feeling. He's like, nothing I can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I just let him be over there. I don't really got nothing to say. Lloyd 50 don't say nothing either. He don't
So,
got nothing to say about it.
but the point I'm making is sometimes when our artist steps away from the group,
Yeah.
they kind of struggle. Look at
Mhm.
Lloyd Banks' career post 50 Cent. And I'm not saying this to pitch a narrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has the Halloween Havoc series. And this is
Mhm.
just in the last few years.
Right.
He has this A.O.N series. He has a catalog that when you listen to his catalog, that man deserves a PhD for rapping.
Yeah.
When you look at Lloyd Banks' catalog, that man deserves a PhD for rapping.
Mm-hmm.
From the way he puts his songs together, from the way he makes his messages, just in general, man, that catalog is something crazy. And you don't see that all the time. So as a fan of hip hop, especially from New York, I feel like there's no better time to be in the present than what we are living through right now. I've been talking about the underground of hip hop. I'm glad that people like him, 38 Special, many others have raised the bar for lyricism because, you know, one could say a couple years ago we thought that was dead for New York.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got Lloyd Banks giving us projects, like he just came out with his Halloween Havoc Part 5 a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when you turn around just less than 6 months later and bless us with A.O.N 3, I'm like, oh, we in hip hop heaven right now. At least for us old heads, like I always say, man.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Now we're gonna get to this later, but what's the bonus of Lloyd Banks doing this at the same time the Knicks are winning, man? Go ahead, Knicks fan.
Well, no. It just shows that New York ain't going nowhere, and we still got it. You know what I mean? Because as much as everybody thinks like, Kendrick Lamar, which credit all given, is the man and what he does and how he moves. Remember, this over here, with Lloyd Banks, he's still an Illmatic cat. He's doing it on a lower level, but he got a lot of people's attention. And he didn't fall off not one bit. Not one bit. He didn't fall off. And that's not mistaken. It's a good state for New York, especially with Dave East's project.
Oh yeah, we talked about Dave East's project, him and Ransom.
Yeah. So it's New York is starting to come back to like, yo, we just gonna do us. and everything else will flock to us. You get what I'm saying? Like we ain't going back to the
And the older
way it is.
MCs are leading the charge.
They are, man.
You know, we talked about Smith and Wesson.
Yeah,
They released
with their project. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Davies,
Yeah.
Final Call. Now Lloyd Banks.
Yeah, I don't know who's next, but that Mass Appeal list is dope too.
Oh yeah, we waiting on that.
Yeah, facts, super facts.
That's probably gonna. Thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah,
you made a good point, man.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the state of New York hip hop, and I've been critical. And I said it seemed like the older artists plus the upstate New York artists, like with 38 Special and Benny the Butcher. But now you have the NYC artists coming back to the forefront.
Yes, sir.
So do you think that like we there with New York hip hop coming back?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. Like I think it's just what it's gonna be, man. You know, Redman, yeah, you know, he's not New York, he's Jersey, but it's still East Coast. Like we're kind of, like I said, we're no longer doing the you know, trying to follow trends, worrying about the radio. We're just New York's being New York. You know what I'm saying? And
That's important.
I think that's what's a banging thing.
So I want to give some constructive criticism as well. So your constructive criticism for Lloyd Banks' project, and maybe, and I say maybe his personality is like, I'm just gonna give y'all the music and y'all do whatever y'all want with it.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think the visuals are important for hip hop, and I wish Lloyd Banks would take some of these projects and do videos to them, like with his Halloween Havoc series, with his A.O.N. series. So I agree with your constructive criticism. My constructive criticism. Now, as always on this platform, y'all know me for talking about physical sales in hip hop, and I won't get into that whole spill. But I have Lloyd Banks' Halloween Havoc Part 4, so I'll hold that up. Got his vinyl and his CD. So my constructive criticism for Lloyd Banks is, I need a physical copy, man. We need, the fan base need a vinyl, need a cassette tape, need a CD. And since you're independent, man, you should be able to hook us up with that. No streams amongst us shall prosper.
Right.
Now, David Banner went on his spill with Drink Champs, where he talked about how streaming has ruined hip hop. And y'all know I talked about that last year.
Yeah, you did.
I said the record labels have lied to us. We need to get back to doing what we were doing and going hand in hand with the CDs, cassettes, and vinyls, because it's all dope art. So for an artist like a Lloyd Banks, who has a cult fan base, who has a cult following, and again, I actually have one of your albums where I actually brought the physical sales, I mean the physical copies. I think artists like Lloyd Banks and others need to continue that trend. And even when you put your music out on the DSPs, a month later or 2 months later, you got to hit us customers with that art. That's the only way we're going to break the trend of streaming. It's the only way. Forget the sales numbers. Forget, oh, I ain't sell 10,000 units independently. Maybe you only sell 500. Maybe you only sell 1,000. But if we collectively do this as a culture over the next 5 years, then that will be the trend.
Yeah.
So that's just my constructive criticism. Hopefully Lloyd Banks hits us with the A.O.N. physical copies, a CD, a vinyl, or something, man. And for you, it's the music videos.
Yeah, the visuals. Yeah, most definitely. I think it will help him a lot. You know.
Salute to Lloyd Banks, man. You definitely representing for New York. And as I said, your catalog right now deserves a PhD for hip hop. They always give honorary doctorate degrees for some of these celebrities.
Yeah.
Lloyd Banks deserves somebody, St. John's. Listen up. Here's my take.
Yeah.
For an artist like Lloyd Banks, who has been giving us greatness within music for 20 years, St. John's, which is in Queens, should honor Lloyd Banks with an honorary doctorate degree for music.
Really?
I'm being dead ass serious.
No, I know.
I'm being dead ass serious.
I know.
These institutions constantly give out honorary doctorate degrees. When we talking about pushing the culture forward for New York, how dope would that be if St. John's honored Lloyd Banks with the honorary doctorate degree for music and art, for the greatness he's put out for 20 years? That's how we push the culture forward. And that's how we bridge the gap with music and education.
Right.
Just an idea, St. John's. Salute Lloyd Banks, man.